I don't have my gavel, so everybody pay attention. We're going to call the meeting to order. We will begin the Wednesday, September 20th, 2023 Norfolk Public School Committee meeting to order, beginning by reading the mission statement, as we always do. The Norfolk Public Schools offers a safe, joyful, and challenging learning environment that meets the needs of our diverse students. Through school, family, and community partnerships, we provide an education that inspires lifelong learners and cultivates caring and productive citizens of our ever-changing world. Roll call, please. Maybe from down there.
Lauren. Lauren Vivas.
Grace Lockhead.
Lisa Sheldon.
Jennifer Wynn.
Medora Champagne.
Victoria Saldana.
Ingrid Alardi.
Okay, so first order of business after roll call, as always, is public comment. I believe we have some public here, but I'm not sure if they're here to offer freewheeling comment or not. It doesn't appear to be the case, so we can move on. We look forward to hearing from you later. And then the next agenda item is correspondence, of which we have none. So we are flying. Moving on to the school committee chair report. This will take a few minutes more, but I will try to be brief. First item on our agenda is a brief, hopefully, update on the Freeman Kennedy building project and where we stand currently with that process. As everyone on the committee knows, we've been looking at this for, it feels like forever. Yeah, 7 years, the entirety of my tenure on the school committee, plus a couple years prior to that. So we are making some headway. As we all know, we completed the feasibility study for an expansion at Freeman Kennedy last spring. This fall, at the fall town meeting, we are going to be moving forward with 2 warrant articles to further that process. So the first warrant article will be to allow the town to borrow funds to complete schematic design, so final construction design and engineering design, to the extent that we would have a bid for the cost of the total project at the end of the process. This is not to cover the total cost of the project. It is to cover a portion of it that is attributable to final design plans. Prior to fall town meeting, we are also going to have a community forum on October 17th at the library, where I know I will be there. I'm sure Ingrid will be there. Our design team from AI3 will be there, and we can hopefully answer any questions that community members might have about the whys and the hows of what it is that we're trying to do to create the space we need to properly educate the students of Norfolk. The other warrant article that will be on the fall town meeting warrant associated with this will authorize the town to form a formal building committee. So we have a construction subcommittee as part of the school committee currently. For a project of this scope and size, you have to have a formal committee comprised of not just school committee members, but community members, I think other individuals from the town, so the town administrator, possibly the building commissioner, and then other community members who can come together and oversee the project through completion, ideally. So similar process, I think, was followed with the fire station as a point of reference. In the event that those warrant articles are successful, particularly the borrowing warrant article, we anticipate having a special election on January 20th to vote as a town to actually borrow the money that will allow us to commence with the final design of the project. So again, just for clarification's sake, this is a vote for the design, the schematic design of the project, not the project in its entirety. So this will be a portion of the funds required to complete final design that would take us to a point of having a bid for the total cost of the project. It's anticipated that the design process to get us to the point of being able to have the project bid will take approximately a year, just given the scope and size of what it is that we're looking to do. And we're also building, I'm sorry, Ingrid, I almost forgot. We are currently in the process of designing and setting up a separate building project website through the schools. It will direct you from the school site into the building project site, where you can see the historical documents, the past feasibility studies, enrollment projections, community forum information, past presentations, everything anyone could possibly want to know, basically, about the proposed expansion of Freeman Kennedy. So we look forward to seeing everyone on October 17th and at Fall Town Meeting. Did I miss anything?
No, I think that covers it unless anybody has questions. We've been working with the Office for Campaign Finance to make sure that the information that we're putting out to the public is put out consistent with the regulations, because it will be an election initiative. Thus, we have a separate site that we will have a barcode that people can scan if they want to. People have to be consistent with the law, people have to actively seek the information. We can't distribute through public resources. So we're working with them to make sure everything's done properly. The content is ready to go. It's just being reviewed, but we should have that ready to be live fairly soon.
Okay, moving on past that to the school gift fund. We have three gifts to recognize, and we don't have this marked down as a vote. Are we not voting on these?
Oh, it should have been a vote, so we'll just review them and then vote at the next meeting.
We can vote at the next meeting, but in anticipation of that, we have two separate donations, gifts from the 6th grade promotion committee, each of $1,000, one for HOD and one for Freeman Kennedy, and then a gift of $1,000 from CPAC. Thank you very much, for eye care books, to commemorate Linda Balfour's retirement for the entire district. So 3 separate $1,000 gifts, total gift of $3,000, which we will vote on at the next school committee meeting. But I anticipate
Happily
gratefully accepted. Yeah. Okay, moving on. One more non-voting item. So everyone on the committee did their due diligence and wonderfully provided me with their individual superintendent evaluations over the summer. So I appreciate everyone's time, effort, and energy that went into that. My job as the chair is to essentially aggregate those into a master school committee evaluation of Dr. Alardi and her performance over the past year. So not surprisingly, to me at least, Dr. Alardi received exemplary marks, literally checked off as exemplary in most categories, so wonderful. Some of the topics that were covered were obviously completion and progress towards superintendent goals, which generally the majority of school committee members felt you had either met or exceeded the goals that had been set across the course of the school year. There were some that were logistically challenging, I know, just given return from COVID and needing to deviate a little bit in certain circumstances, but generally a well-received goal meeting marks. Moving on to the assessment of performance standards. Those are broken into several different categories. So we look at instructional leadership, management and operations, and family and community engagement. And then there's a professional culture assessment as well. Dr. Alardi received exemplary marks in all of those categories. So well done, and I think that there was a lot of consistent feedback about professionalism and the ability to appropriately triage the needs of the school district and to work within what is historically a challenging budget scenario set forth by the town, but to simultaneously collaborate with town departments and other town administrators to make sure that we're leveraging all of the areas we have for coordinated cost containment and good, solid town and school partnerships. So, as has always been the case since I've been on the committee, a wonderful superintendent evaluation. So,
Thank you very much.
does anybody have any specific comments that they would like to offer? That I tried to capture everyone's individual feedback in the comments. It was easy because a lot of it was consistent. But
I just want to say thank you. Working in a school district for so long, I've encountered a number of superintendents, and in this day and age, especially when they move on, and it's really challenging to find someone who is so. You are a master with budget. let's just put it that way. You are a master at figuring out things. I could never do it. And I know the feedback from the staff and, and the parents is always pretty consistent. It's wonderful. And, maybe sometimes there's challenging conversations to have, but Dr. Alardi always welcomes those conversations and gets back to that person immediately and communicates with the school committee appropriately. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on in that same vein, item number 4 under the school committee chair report, we need to discuss the contract negotiations that we will need to, as a committee, undertake with Dr. Alardi as her current contract expires at the close of the school year, right? On June 30th, I believe. So we would need to form a subcommittee of, I think it's typically 2 committee members. I think the last round was myself and Thomas Doyle. I'm not sure who was prior to that, probably Thomas and someone else. So we would need to vote to undertake the contract negotiations, number 1, and then I believe vote to establish a actual negotiation subcommittee, identify the individuals that would be involved in that, and then they can set a meeting schedule with Dr. Alardi. So I guess at the outset, I would be looking for a motion to approve undertaking the contract negotiations with Dr. Alardi to renew her contract.
I'll make a motion to approve contract negotiations with Dr. Alardi.
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? Nope. Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And now for what is usually the slightly longer discussion, we need to establish who is available and willing to serve on the negotiation subcommittee with Dr. Alardi. So I am happy to do it again as I sat through the last round of negotiations. I think there's some value in having someone who's done it before, as I learned last spring during our negotiations, there's value in having had someone who's done it before at the table. So I am happy to do it. If someone else wants to jump in, that would be great. If there's discussion about me not being on it, that's also fine. I'm happy to have it. So does anybody want to do it? I would anticipate 3
A couple meetings.
I think we may have done it in 2 last time, but
Yeah.
I'd say at the outside 3 meetings, probably not more than an hour would probably be generous for each meeting. Yeah.
And then whatever's negotiated does come back to the full committee to review and vote.
I can do it with you.
Okay. Alrighty.
And I would nominate Medora to stay on just because I think there's real value in having somebody who has had previous experience negotiating.
No, definitely.
Agreed.
And I don't.
Yes, please. It was a pretty quick agreement from you. And you're just the arbiter of the dialogue. Okay, so I would be happy to do that again with Lauren. So I believe we would need a motion to establish the negotiation committee comprised of myself and Lauren Beavis.
So moved.
Second?
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Wonderful, and we can circle back with availability and set up a meeting schedule. That, I believe, concludes my portion of the evening's festivities. So we can move on to Dr. Alardi.
All right. So the first thing we have tonight, we have members of the CPAC board here they come twice a year to present to the school committee. So I know you have a presentation, and I'm not sure who is speaking first, but we welcome you and are excited to have you and hear about your upcoming plans. Looks like Mike.
How are you guys? How do I move this forward? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. I'm Mike McCarthy. I am one of the co-chairs, or the current co-chairs of the CPAC. And thank you for having us here today. Who we are is we're the Special Education Parents Advisory Council. It's run by a group of volunteers, and I want to stress it's volunteers. And we provide a great support system for families with all types of needs. We offer educational presentations and resources, information on IEP process and the opportunities for parents and students alike to connect in a supportive and inclusive environment. And here's a slide just because PACs themselves are mandated by law to be set up. The Massachusetts Special Education Law, Chapter 71B of the Massachusetts General Laws requires a school district to establish a PAC and assign both an advisory and participatory function to the PAC. The following is an excerpt from Section 3 that just kind of illustrates what our role is. And the school committee of any city, town, or school district shall establish a parent advisory council on special education. Membership shall be offered to all parents of children with disabilities and other interested parties. The parent advisory council's duties shall include, but not be limited to, advising the school committee on matters that pertain to the education and safety of students with disabilities. And we meet regularly with school officials to participate in the planning, development, and evaluation of the school committee's special education programs. Dr. Tupper. The Parent Advisory Council shall establish bylaws regarding officers and operational procedures. In the course of its duties under this section, the Parent Advisory Council shall receive assistance from the school committee without charge upon reasonable notice and subject to availability of staff and resources. And that's that. I'm going to pass it over to Ty to talk about our mission statement.
Sure. Thanks, Mike. So as Mike mentioned, we are mandated by Massachusetts law. However, our role really is to work collaboratively with the school committee and with the district. So, our goal is to be as collaborative and great partners as we can. So we're very fortunate here that in Norfolk, we've had a great relationship with the district, with the school committee. I've been on the board now for 5 years since I moved to Norfolk, and I can tell you that our relationship has only improved since I've been here. So it's really great to have great partners. So our mission is to collaborate, as I mentioned, with and advise the school committee and administration to continually improve the educational experience for all Norfolk children and families. We promote improved education and success for students with disabilities, ensuring they receive equal access to education within our schools and community. We provide a network for parents or guardians with children with disabilities, and also all abilities really, to access local resources, gain support, and share ideas. We encourage families to be involved in all district policy discussions. So that's our mission.
Hi everyone, I'm Karen Murphy, parent obviously, and a member of the CPAC. I'm the chair of marketing. I'm here to talk about what we do, and I know for a lot of people this is all kind of stuff you've already seen, but I know we have some newer members, so we thought we would start from scratch just in case. So bear with us if you've already heard the spiel a couple of times. What we do, so we have kind of three key pieces of three key goals. So one is we provide a community voice to the Norfolk School Committee and administration. We do that by holding our monthly meetings that are open to the general public. We run a parents support group for local families. We have a private CPAC parent group on Facebook where parents can ask questions and get tips and ideas, and we are always happy to meet one-on-one with parents in the district to give them any support that we can provide. And then we hold a monthly meeting with the Director of Student Services, Dr. Tupper, to share insights gained from the community and keep up to date on the special education programming, staffing, et cetera, that's going on, so that we do have up-to-date information when parents ask us about questions or talk to us about anything that's going on in the community. We also like to, we provide resources to families accessing student services. We post via social media about event information, parent guidance on relevant topics, and especially try to remain important as a local resource for parents and families for information on things like OTs and speech therapists and feeding therapists and all the fun things that you can access outside of the school system. So we provide the Norfolk community with access to local and regional guest speakers and workshops, providing relevant topics of interest for discussion, facilitating Q&A. So we try to host workshops where for parents and staff and administrators to come and gain additional perspectives on things current in the community. We also partner with the school on providing inclusive programming and resources. We really love to be able to support any in-school presentations or activities as well. And we are always open to opportunities to fund those. So if anyone has any ideas, please never hesitate to bring them up and suggest them to us, because we're always open to them. And then we also, it's really important to us that parents don't feel like they're on an island all by themselves. This can be tough when you're going through all of these various stages of parenting, regardless of what's going on with your kids. So we try to have opportunities where Norfolk families, really any Norfolk family, can come to a social and ask questions and talk to parents who may be in a similar situation. We also collaborate with our community organizations, the rec department, the police and fire, the Lions, and the PTO. I think this is yours. Great, thank you.
Sorry, musical chairs for you guys. Good evening. Thank you again for having us. Kayla Costa. This is my 5th year on the CPAC board, my 2nd year as co-chair, along with my great co-part, Mike. So I want to talk a little bit about what our objective is this year. We talked a lot about what we do broadly. This year, we actually did not change our goal very much from last year. We really started last year to try to really enhance our connection to the community, our visibility in the community. Because if we're more visible, then we can help more people. We want parents to know that we are here and that we exist. So that was like our #1 goal last year. We really made a lot of strides forward with that. So this year we decided we are going to continue with that goal. Part of that goal also is also continuing our amazing collaboration with the special education department and the district, and in general, just promoting inclusivity in the school district and in the community in general. And we can talk about a few of the things since we've been here in January that we've done around those goals. We had a King Philip transition presentation from the King Philip Special Education Department. We had Lisa Moy and Tracy and Connie give a presentation about what it looks like for a special ed family when they transition to King Philip, because it can be a really kind of scary transition. Things are very different over there. It's like real big kid status. You're changing classrooms, you've got different books and different notebooks, and when you're dealing with a lot already, that can seem absolutely overwhelming. So we had a lot of families attend. There was a great Q&A afterwards, and I think it really helped the families that were able to come. We've had an eye care guest speaker, Kim Pyro. We're working with Dr. Tupper and the special education department to roll out the eye care program, which I'll talk a little bit about more in our next slide for our plans and goals for this year. We submitted a donation to the school in honor of Linda Balfour to help buy books for that eye care program. And we have participated in community events like Community Day. We were at Kindergarten Info Night at the end of last year to give some information to incoming new kindergarten families. So again, awareness that we are here and that we're here to help, some of the things that we do. We also sponsored a Summer Tunes for Tots concert. We had an extended school year presentation from Joe Levy, who was the head of the summer school programming, which was a really, really great Q&A. I learned stuff. My son has gone to extended school year a couple of times. I still learned a few things. Especially I learned what goes into preparing for extended school year in terms of staffing and things like that. And it is quite a dance, and she is really amazing at it, and I give her kudos. I mean, they are working like up to the last minute trying to like put those puzzle pieces together for those kiddos. Parent socials is a thing we really tried to focus on this year. We had a great one at the end, right before the holidays. I think it was the evening of parent-teacher conferences in December. So we told parents, like, hopefully you already have a babysitter. Come on over after your conference. Mingle with us, get to know us. We met a few new parents, which was amazing, who needed some support, and it was exactly what we're there for. And we continued that tradition on. We had another one in the spring, and we had a great end of school year celebration at Eagle Brook. So those are things we're going to continue doing. We have an executive functioning parent workshop. Did I miss anything? No. We've been up to a lot since January. It seemed like let's see if I can do it.
That might just be me.
No, it's not just you, Mike. Oh, okay. Again, a lot on here, so I will not hit everything. Some of our plans and goals for this school year. One thing on here, we already kind of crossed off the list. We put together a parent survey. We really wanted to know how we can best reach our parents, kind of develop our programming for the year in terms of workshops and children's activities. So what are parents looking for? What's kind of like the hot topic right now? What are parents struggling with the most? Is it going to be anxiety? Is it social skills? So we can really focus our programming, bring in an amazing speaker, and work on that for parents. What do I want to focus on here? Of course, our 9th annual trunk or treat is one of our next big upcoming events, our favorite night of the year, our biggest fundraiser of the year. And of course, those funds that we raise during trunk or treat are used to fund those workshops that we have throughout the year. We do not charge parents for any workshops they attend. There was one time we did a very intensive parent workshop that met 4 or 5 times with a small group, and we subsidized about 75% of that cost. We are, of course, rolling out the eye care program. I'm happy to answer any questions about that. I think we've talked about it last time we were here. In October, for our next meeting, we're having a parent, Lindsay Seamus, come and join us, and she's going to talk about dyslexia from a parent perspective. We have not had a parent speaker before, so we're really excited about this opportunity. Lindsay is really excited. She's really knowledgeable about dyslexia, and she's really into helping other people understand what is out there and what has worked for her, even outside of school, with her daughter. And we're going to continue to partner with our local organizations. We have a really fun collaboration coming up in May with the PTO. We are going to team up together to host a Kentucky Derby fundraiser party. We're hoping this will be the first of many. It will become an annual tradition. So keep your eyes out for that. That's going to be in May. Ooh.
Oh, that was fun.
That was fancy. We'd like to bring back some art and music therapy for kids. I'm not sure if we'll be able to bring both back, maybe one or the other. Again, we're looking for some feedback on that survey from parents. We put that on pause during COVID and didn't get a chance to bring it back yet, so this year we're really hoping to do that. And I think I had all, something we're really looking forward to working with the special ed department on in hopefully March of next year is a immersive disability awareness experience for kids at both HOD and Freeman Kennedy, and that may be the perfect kind of ending to Disability Awareness Month in March, and that is something that the CPAC is going to fund. We're going to work together with Dr. Tupper to find a suitable organization to come in and do that. So looking forward to that, and I think I might have covered everything. One thing that's really just kind of in its beginning stages is a parent mentoring program. We have parents reach out to us via our social media, we get emails, we have parents sometimes randomly come to meetings and ask questions, but what we're realizing and what Dr. Tupper is trying to help with is trying to, especially new families who are going through the process for the first time, it can be very overwhelming. It's emotional, it's your child, you want what's best for them. You're overwhelmed with all of the clinical talk and all of the reports, and we'd like to be able to support them the best way we can right from the get-go. So we're working with Dr. Tupper on how we can maybe put something together to achieve that. Okay, I talked a lot. I will be done now. And, oh, I'm not done. I'm finishing, right? So we meet the second Thursday of every month at 7 o'clock right here in this library. Our meetings are completely open to anyone in the public, whether you're a parent, a guardian of a student, or you're a community member that has a great idea for your organization. We are fully open to the public. One misconception that we're trying to make people aware of is that you don't have to join our organization formally. There's no like membership. You don't have to commit to a certain amount of time. You can come to one meeting and then, not come for 4 months. You can come to every meeting. You can decide you want to be on the board. We love to have you. We currently have a few open positions. But it's as little or as much as you need it to be. We are here for you, and you come when you can. That's a question that we've gotten a lot recently, so I just wanted to make that really clear. So we have a regular board agenda every month. We generally start with a special guest. A lot of times it's someone, staff from the special education department, talking about their particular area of expertise, like Jill Levy, an extended school year, the King Philip transition, things like that. We always need volunteers. The biggest thing we're looking for next is trunk or treat volunteers, which is so fun if you haven't done it before. That sign up will be going up on Friday, pending approval tonight. So be on the lookout. And you can always email us at our Gmail account. That comes to all of the board members, and we try to then assign that to somebody who's best suited to respond to that question. And here is all of our social media. We are on Facebook. Again, we do have a private parent support group. We have a Twitter, Instagram, and again, there's our Gmail. So that is it. Thank you so much. Oh, maybe I'll put that back up for a second. No, okay. I'm just gonna leave it like this. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna lean in. I forgot to turn my. Thank you so much.
So I just want to say thank you to the CPAC for coming tonight, and as you know, they do a tremendous job. They provide a lot of resources and supports for parents and families beyond the programming. They didn't mention that they send a newsletter out regularly with tips and links to resources. Beyond what they do for the CPAC, they've been great partners for many of the district initiatives. Mike joined our strategic planning committee and was able to help as we were developing and looking at data, ensure that the needs of all of our students are being considered as we develop plans. Many of the board members joined the equity audit and came to participate in parent focus groups and individual interviews to share their experiences to help us really look at what we're doing well and where we could improve. So they've been great partners across the board. So thank you very much, and thanks for coming tonight. And I believe they are seeking a vote to approve the fundraiser for the trunk or treat. Is there anything more you wanted to share with that, or should they move to vote? We're good? It is well attended. It's a great fundraiser. The kids love it. It comes early in the school year. Typically, the school committee will get all of the fundraisers for each building to review in October to approve, because by policy you're required to approve it. But because they need to advertise, they come first. So we're seeking a motion to vote to approve the CPAC annual trunk or treat fundraiser event.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Other than it's an awesome event?
It is an awesome event, and if you haven't, I think it's a rite of passage to not only go there, but also participate. My children and I did it one year. It was candy, it was Santa Land or something, but anyway, my kids still talk about it. They're too old now to go, but
They're not too old to volunteer.
there you go. I can ask the older one. So it really is an awesome event to not only attend, but if you get a chance to I guess, host a trunk, it's really a great time. So that's it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to the next item, and you're welcome to stay, but I know you have kids at home, so don't feel you have to stay. The next item on our agenda is the opening of schools update. In your packet, I sort of highlighted some of the key events. The opening of schools this year really went very smoothly overall. As you know, we had a change in start time, and we added a new bus, so bus routes changed. But our buses have been really running on time. There's one bus that we're still working on that was running a little bit late, but we've made some adjustments with Holmes, and that seems to be pretty much resolved at this point. So transportation and arrival and the new start time have been going very well. Our students in grades 1 to 6 started on Tuesday, August 29th. Obviously, always during the first week of school, we have a lot of extra support staff and people out to make sure that kids get off the bus, they remember who their teacher is, they find their classrooms. And our kids were really settled in very quickly. Instruction starting around 9:10, everybody settled into classrooms. So that went very well. Our new kindergarten students, we have a staggered start for that. Many of our kindergarten students have attended our preschool, so are familiar, but we do have students that are new to school. So we always have the first day be a parent visit day where students come with their families to see their classrooms, meet their teachers, kind of get a sense of the school. And then we start staggered. So half of the class will come on Wednesday so that there's a lot more adult support and a smaller adult to student ratio to help kids get settled, find where they hang their backpacks, get used to the classroom routines. The second half of the class came the following day, and then they all came together to start the following week. So kindergarten numbers, as you know, we watched over the summer. We do have a higher kindergarten class, but we had planned for that, so that's going well too. The majority of our students do continue to access school-based transportation. I'd say about 90% of our students. Parent drop-off lines typically in the first week of school are a little bit longer. People start arriving earlier to make sure they can get from one building to the next. But over time, that has really corrected, and we have a lot fewer parents driving than we did during COVID. We did Holmes added an additional bus. We have, our enrollment continues to grow. Kids are spread out across town. They were really trying to keep riding time short. And so for this year, they added a 16th bus for us, and they did it free of charge. So we're very grateful to Holmes for making that accommodation. And that's helped us keep our riding time shorter across all the other buses. Let's see. Staffing updates. So we continue to work to fill a couple of open positions. All of our teaching vacancies have been filled, and our paraprofessional support staff positions have been filled. We continue to look for a cafeteria monitor at the H. Olive Day School. So if you know anyone that wants to work midday hours, we are desperately looking to bring another permanent staff member on for that position. We also, in our SAC program, need site coordinators for both buildings. Tony Davis has been actively advertising, recruiting, interviewing, but those positions remain open. SAC is very challenging because of the staggered hours. So we need somebody to work 7 to 9, and then they come back in the afternoon from 3 to 6:30. So if you know anybody interested, we are still looking to fill those positions. Since the time of writing this memo, we do have a few teachers that are out on unexpected leaves. Those positions are covered. We have our most experienced substitutes covering those classrooms. And we are monitoring that situation and communicating with the families that are involved. Heat. Last week was a hot week. We were lucky last year. We didn't have that, but it was warm across the district. In Freeman Kennedy, we don't have air conditioning in either building. We do have a ground cooling system here, so that brings some of the cooler air up from the ground into the classroom. So the temperatures were very comfortable here. H. Olive Day, we have window and air conditioning units in about half of the classrooms. The other classrooms, were quite warm. So what we do for heat management, we watch the temperatures. If it drops at night, we adjust our HVAC system to bring in as much possible outside cool air. We leave windows open. We have fans to circulate that air. We keep shades down. So usually in the morning, it's cooler in the building. The heat happens as the day goes on. So we made some adjustments for the really hot days where we had teachers co-teach in classrooms. So we put 2 classrooms together in air-conditioned space to keep students comfortable. In most spaces, they were able to be in their own rooms for the morning. We've often been asked about why can't we expand window units at H. Olive Day. That's a capacity issue of our electrical system. So you need certain voltage to be able to run an air conditioner large enough to cool a classroom space, and we don't have any room on that electrical panel to add anymore. So it's something that we've been looking at in terms of capital, what we would have to do to update the entire electrical system. And we continue to explore that, but typically it's 2 or 3 days. So we've tried to navigate around it, but we are looking at that further. So overall, we're off to a great start to the new school year. 3 weeks in so far, everything's going well. The kids seem to be excited to be back, and our teachers are excited to have them back. Happy to take any questions on the opening of school.
For the SAC positions, do you only offer it as you have to come in the morning and in the afternoon, or do you?
We have some split
Split it.
shifts that some people that just do the morning, some
Right.
people for site coordinators that are kind of overseeing the site. We try to have one person because they have some additional responsibilities during the day. But we're open to split, sometimes we have people that are there 3 days and another person 2 days, so we're really flexible in the hire.
Okay.
But it's still really.
I can see some people only being able to do the morning.
Yeah,
and not come back.
we would definitely consider that. And we have some of our staff members that are paraprofessionals with us that work in the morning at SAC or work in the afternoon. So we have a lot of staggered shifts.
Okay.
All right. Next, per policy in your packet, we provide an annual update on the school facilities revolving account. And this is reflecting the revenue that we bring in for renting school-based spaces like the gym, the library, the HOD multipurpose room, which is the cafeteria gym space. You can see in 2022, we started the year with a beginning balance of about $46,000. That fund is used strictly for facilities. So if we have unexpected costs, we had a freezer problem at the H Olive Day, that is the revenue that we can access for extraordinary maintenance or not capital items, but for smaller maintenance that's unexpected. We started with $46,000. During the period of time that we were managing COVID, we did not bring outside groups and rental in. So you'll see that the revenue was flat for that period of time. We didn't take a lot of new revenue in. So we started 23 with a lower balance because we paid out some things, but we weren't actively renting the space. That's recovered over the last year, and we're back to starting with a balance of $45,000. We do have quite a busy rental schedule. We rent often to CYO and to other groups. Primarily the gym at the Freeman Kennedy is the most rented space. So we will continue to build that account, and we do anticipate that this, as we are looking at the building project and the building expansion project, this might be a source of revenue to help us defray costs for the special election, which the school will have to carry because it is a facilities need and a facilities design and engineering. So, but we have a healthy balance in this account, and we're hoping to see that grow as we resume more and more rentals. Have we take any questions on that? Okay. All right. Our HR director, Ms. Bordeaux, annually in September provides you with an update on staffing and just personnel changes. You can see in the administrative side, we brought in a new business consultant who you had the opportunity to meet at our last meeting, Miriam Goodwin, and she is recently retired from the business manager position in Franklin. Tammy Ribello, our new H Olive Day School principal, and Matthew Malnrich, who you also appointed and met as the new director of facilities. Freeman Kennedy, we have 2 new professional staff members, Ms. Maura LaPlante, who is a special education teacher here, and Hannah Griswold, who is a new classroom teacher at grade 5. Freeman Kennedy has 5 new paraprofessional support members, Megan Mobley, Lynn Kelleher-Koval, Kristen Ritchie, Allison Hamilton is the new office support personnel at Freeman Kennedy, and Emily Testa, who is an ABA technician working in grade 3. And HOD, we just have 1 new professional staff member, is Lisa Butler, and she's the new preschool teacher who replaced Julie Gallagher, who retired last spring. So again, at this point, our the teaching vacancies and our paraprofessional positions are full. We had 1 resignation, and we are actively interviewing to fill that. And we have the cafeteria and the SAC positions we're still working on. Happy to take any questions on that.
You mentioned that you have 3 subs, I guess, covering the teachers. How is our sub kind of
Our
roster
sub
for
pool
this?
is pretty good right now. I mean, it's a tough question because we have for probably the last 7 or 8 years struggled to find and recruit subs. That's a chronic issue here as well as across the state. It's been difficult, and I think it was further exacerbated by COVID. Fewer people wanted to come and work in the schools. So we have a depleted sub pool. However, the first few weeks of school, we rarely have people out, so we haven't had a lot of demand for day-to-day subs. So we haven't been short in covering classrooms or programs, and we do have the 3 vacancies, the temporary leaves are all filled. So we're okay for right now, but we are still actively looking to try to recruit more substitutes to the district and build that sub pool.
Vacancy is going to impact the budget, the sub line, which
They will.
I recall was pretty tight.
But we have planned for that. We build that into the sub line that we often have unexpected leaves of absence. But yes, you are paying a sub to cover while you're continuing, depending on people's leaves and benefits.
Yeah.
You're sometimes paying for two positions. These are short-term though, and I don't think we're at a point where we're concerned about that line.
It's hard to find subs. I had to teach art the other day. To 8th grade.
There you go, yes.
Oh, that was fine.
Yeah,
It
well,
wasn't math.
we've had that issue. We've had Miss Balfour teaching gym. We're creative when we need to be. Yes.
It was a big day in our house.
I bet. The kids love it. They're excited, but it is a challenge, and we are continuing to work on that. Any other questions on staffing? All right, next we were looking to, so as Medora said, the town has a warrant article on the upcoming town meeting to establish a building committee for Freeman Kennedy. That will be a broader committee that has town representatives and members and will oversee decisions made during the engineering design process. So we had last year a school committee subcommittee. We didn't appoint new members to that, but I would recommend, as we're thinking about that we select members that would be willing to serve on the larger building committee. I would expect at this stage of the game, it would probably be monthly meetings during that period of time. Hour, an hour and a half. Probably some may end up being virtual, and that's how we did the feasibility study. It was about once a month. We alternated between virtual and in-person meetings. So we're looking to find whether people are interested in serving on that, and hopefully can appoint. We would have to do just 2 members because we can't have a quorum of the school committee in attendance. I'm guessing Medora might be interested in serving on that.
I want to join all the committees tonight. I've been spending a fair amount of my life on this project at this point, so I would appreciate the opportunity to continue to try to get it over the line. So, yeah, I would appreciate that.
So we would be looking for one other member who might be willing to serve on the building committee.
I'd be willing. I can.
Great. So do you want to call for a vote to approve?
I would love to call for a vote to approve myself and, it was Grace.
Grace.
It was Grace, yeah. As building subcommittee members. I don't know, going forward in perpetuity, I don't, there's not a term
For the
on it.
period of time, yeah, that this next phase of the project. Is okay.
I'll move to nominate them for the building subcommittee.
Great.
Second.
Second, all right, any further discussion? Nobody else wants to come to the party? All those in favor?
Aye.
Right, great. The next item is just a technical item. We have an arrangement with the town that we have had for a number of years for cost sharing the director of facilities position. We made one shift and we would like to update the memo of agreement. So in the past, the schools have been the party that has contracted the position and billed the town. We are recommending shifting that and that the town be the party that does the hiring and invoice the schools. Primarily because they just did a compensation study. They have a set salary scale. This position would fit into that. So rather than renegotiating annually, there's a clear pathway for the position to progress. So that would be the only thing that changed. I am requesting that the school committee vote to give me the authority to sign this memo of agreement with the town to memorialize our cost sharing ratio at 45% for the schools, 55% for the town. with the town being the hiring agency and invoicing the district.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve the MOA as stated by Dr. Alardi?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? It's the same ratio we've had.
It's the same ratio,
Okay,
yep. And all the benefits, everything's the same except for the shift of the town being the hiring body.
got it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The select board also voted on this last week and gave Justin the authority to sign, so we will take care of that and get that process done. Okay, last on the agenda, I'm going to turn it over to Vicki Saldana. At the last meeting, we reviewed and approved the family handbook. There are one section that Vicki has made some adjustments to make sure that it's consistent with the changes that we made to that process last year. So I'm going to let you highlight and review the changes. And
Absolutely. So we also updated our district curriculum accommodation plan, which is a DCAP, our staff handbook. So we wanted to make sure that the language is consistent and reflective in all our documentation. And as you can see, I highlighted in yellow, and you can see my notes on the side too of just what the recommendations are. It's really more to keep the language consistent and representative of our efforts in having a multi-tier system of support approach, where basically it says that all our students are eligible to have support as they need it. It's based on a 3-tier system, where tier 1 is general. A student is able to access curriculum as is presented. Tier 2 system is a student needs support, you know what I mean? And then tier 3, a student needs additional support, so it's kind of a scaffolded approach. But the big shift is that the students can freely move throughout the tier system, so it kind of takes away the labeling, and kind of gives that philosophy that all students will at some point most likely need some type of a differentiated support, whether it be like extending the curriculum or differentiating or tiering the curriculum. So our instructional support teams, which is our literacy and math specialist, provide a lot of the tier 2 and tier 3 additional supports, and it basically just gives the description that is in the handbook. Like I said, really kind of supports the philosophy that the multi-tier system of support has, and that it is really open for all students. It's as part of the general education system, and they really try to use data to inform the level of support that students may need. So teachers provide the support, and our specialists come in and provide the support depending on the needs of the student. So I'm just basically asking the committee to approve the language changes to be able to be consistent with our educational approach for the family handbook.
And some of the changes are just labeled, so as Vicki talked about, in the past, we used to refer to math support services as developmental math. There's not always a developmental issue. Sometimes kids have missed periods of instruction or are really struggling with a concept, so it's now referred to as math support services. So they're really fairly minor changes. Same with reading. We refer the programs a little bit differently and really focuses on the general ed component of that. So we're looking for the committee to just vote, and we will send this section out through Connect Ed just to let parents know that this has been changed and updated in the handbook.
Can we get a motion to accept the changes as stated by both Vicki and Ingrid?
So moved.
All right.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I think we're on to committee reports.
KP?
Unfortunately, I have nothing to report. I missed the last meeting due to a torn meniscus. So I'm not able to make it there.
You can catch us up in October.
Oh, I'll be there. There's another meeting Monday. So I'll be there Monday.
Nice. Okay, so policy met for the first time this evening prior to our meeting here, and we discussed 3 separate policies that we're going to be looking at: IIAC, IJLA, and JICFB, which the first 2 pertain to library resources, and the third pertains to the school's bullying prevention program. So we anticipate bringing forward some changes to those existing policies in the upcoming meetings.
In October.
Yep. And that's it. And I believe
And you're on to the minutes.
we are on to the minutes. Let me find a list of minutes. One set of minutes to vote on, the August 24th, 2023 meeting minutes, which are Exhibit 9. Anybody needs a minute to look at them, minutes, raise your hand, or I'll assume that we all did our homework beforehand, and we would just be looking for a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Okay, we get a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Wonderful. Our next committee meeting is scheduled for 10/10/23. How does everybody feel about that?
Awesome.
On right now.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Tuesday.
That's post
Fine
long
for
weekend.
me.
We should all be great. All right. If nobody has a major issue with that, then you're good?
I'm good.
Okay. I'm just looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? No, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Look at that, right.
I know.